This is UMAR AHMED for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Privileged to be joined by trainer Abel Sanchez. How you doing, Abel?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Quite a fiery press conference in the end. What did you make of Joe Joyce's manager Sam Jones and Bermain going at it, really?
You know, I wasn't with Joe when that sparring took place back in Vegas several years ago, but I had fired up Bermain. Hopefully, that's the kind of animosity we get in the ring on Saturday night. But he definitely got fired up.
I just spoke to Bermain, actually, and he said for a guy with relatively little experience in a pro rank such as Joe Joyce, it's too early to face a former world champion. How do you sort of respond to that as his trainer?
Well, we feel that he's ready for that step. We feel that Bermain represents the kind of experience that we could use to prepare ourselves for the end of the year or the beginning of next, fighting for a world title. Joe Joyce was probably the most decorated fighter here in the UK, a heavyweight fighter in the UK. 7 fights, but he's a silver medalist. Has done the work in the gym. He's progressed very well in the gym for me in the last 6-7 months. So we feel that it's the right step. We'll find out on Saturday night if we're wrong.
If Bermain hadn't been knocked out by Wilder in one round, would you still be fighting him?
Absolutely. I think that in the heavyweight division, one punch can make such a difference. One punch can change the not only the outcome but the flow of the fight. When Bermain got caught with that one shot, it was hard to recover because Deontay can punch very, very hard. But we're prepared for the guy that fought Deontay 12 rounds and the guy that fought Areola to a decision and beat him for the title. So his loss really is not what we looked at. I looked at the best fights that he had.
That makes sense because his manager, Sam Jones, was looking to fight Luis Ortiz, actually, for this date. That didn't materialise. I'm sure, though, Ortiz will be in your plans for this year, obviously, if all goes well this Saturday night.
No, he mentioned Ortiz back at the press conference to the last fight, but I said there was no way we were going to fight Ortiz. We just were not ready for Ortiz. That's a step that probably in 2 more fights we'll be fighting a guy like Ortiz. Right now is Bermain. Bermain, I think, has the style that I would want for Joe. Not because he got knocked out by Deontay, but he has a style. He has a size that I want for Joe. If successful on Saturday night, then we start preparing for the next style that we want to develop in Joe.
Richard Schaefer said this guy's going to be the best heavyweight in the world. How does it feel like working with a juggernaut? How's it all going?
You know what? It's fun to work with somebody that wants to work. It's fun to work with somebody that's willing to try anything you ask them to try, willing to work as hard as you want them to work. It's easy to come to the gym and be able to progress and be able to do the things that you want to do. And in the last 6 months, 7 months that we've been with Joe, he's done exactly that. He's progressed a lot quicker than I thought he would because he's a smart guy. He's a very athletic guy. His presence is going to be a force just like George Foreman was.
That's a big statement. Let's move on to another fighter of yours, Gennady Golovkin. A lot of rumours that he could be potentially joining Dazn. Could you sort of comment on that?
Those are rumors that have been going on for the last 3 months. No, Gennady's on vacation right now with his family. He's on vacation from boxing. In the next 2 or 3 weeks, he will decide what he's going to do. But when he decides, I'm sure there'll be a press conference and he will announce it. It's not for me to say. It's for Gennady to announce what's in his best interest, not only for himself, for his family, and for boxing.
So a couple of weeks and we'll have some news on him?
I think the next 2 or 3 weeks we should have some news, yeah.
Obviously, his former opponent, Canelo, is fighting Danny Jacobs, another former opponent of Gennady's. What do you make of that fight?
I think that's a great fight. Canelo should win. I think he's got a little better boxing skills. And from what Gennady knocking Jacobs down and not being able to knock Canelo down, I think that Canelo has the sturdier chin. But it should be a good fight. But I wouldn't bet against Danny. I think it's a fight that could go either way.
Billy Joe Saunders was obviously mandated to fight Andrade for the WBO middleweight championship of the world. That won't happen now. Billy Joe Saunders has gone up to super middleweight. So potentially a fight with Gennady and Andrade?
You know, who knows? When he decides what the best option is, a fight will be announced. I'm sure at the same time. a date and a fight will be announced. So let's just wait until that decision is made by Gennady.
Sure. What do you make of Andrade as a fighter?
Exceptional. But I think he's a 154 pounder. I don't think he's a 60 pounder. I think he'll be too small for the 60 pounders. But he's a very talented fighter. Too bad that he doesn't fight often enough for us to see his skills more often.
What have you made of sort of Canelo having a fight at super middleweight? Do you think he should stay at middleweight?
No, I think Canelo needs to do what's best for Canelo. I think Canelo winning the belt at 168 gives him another platform. He felt comfortable at that weight. Whatever, I think that these fighters need to do what's best for them. What's best for not only their careers, but for their futures.
Just the last one on Gennady. You can see why people are linking him with Dazn. You've got Canelo, Jacobs, Andrade, all on that platform. So can you sort of see why people are sort of linking Gennady with that network?
No, I don't, because Tyson Fury just signed with ESPN. So all these networks are going to have to start working with each other. And because there's fighters on all networks, and there's fighters that are very good fighters on all networks that need to fight each other. And if they don't start dealing with each other, then the fans are going to flock away.
Last topic, you mentioned Tyson Fury's new deal with ESPN and Top Rank. What have you made of it?
I think it's great. I think that Bob Arum has shown us in the past that he's kind of promoter that works with everybody. As long as a fight can be made, he's not going to be one that stands in the way. I think the networks are going to recognize that. And Tyson is probably on the best platform for Tyson. That way he's by himself. That way he has his own deal. So it's good for Tyson.
Are you fearful, though, the Wilder rematch is in jeopardy because can't really see Al and Bob working together?
No, I see that fight coming off. I'll bet you that fight is in May. Late May sometime. I think that Bob and Tyson wouldn't have signed the deal if they thought that fight couldn't be made.
Tyson obviously sparred Joe Joyce and one of Sam Jones's other heavyweights.
Yeah.
Would you be open to sort of working with Tyson again for future fights?
Well, absolutely. The only thing is that my guys are not sparring partners. My guys are there to prepare for a fight. If Tyson comes back to Big Bear, we're not going to travel to anywhere to accommodate somebody. My guys are preparing for their own future and their own fights. So, of course, if Tyson comes back to Big Bear, we'd be more than happy to work with him.
Abel, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV, and we look forward to some news on Gennady.